Hi, it's James Harrison. This is a rant, if you want to call it that, or honestly, I can just tell you I'm flat out scared by it, and that is AI. And a lot of people may think it's a great thing, and I'm sure in some ways, and for some people, it is a great thing. I feel like it's a dangerous thing if not regulated in some way. And what I mean by that is I saw Rick Beato, famous YouTube artist and musician, look him up, and he did a demonstration, and he played some AI tracks that were totally created by AI, not even real voices and whatnot. Some of them were cheesy and some of them were okay. But the point is, to the general audience, they're not going to know the difference. And then he did one where he created a tune with a fake artist, a female artist, and I'm drawing a blank on the name right now. But anyway, he put a song in about going through a breakup in darkness. In about 4 or 5 seconds, it came up with a whole set of lyrics. And then I want this dark tone, chord structure, whatever. It created a song. So it created an entire song from AI based on information he put in. And honestly, it could have been released and probably been a hit. And this was a pop-ish type song. And so he kind of showed some of the country genre ones and whatnot. And it's scary in the fact that it really took no effort on his part, or it could be anybody's part. You could just sit at a keyboard and type information, and it doesn't mean that you're writing it. It means that you're giving the parameters, and it's being written by artificial intelligence, and that's scary. And when I say it's scary, it should scare anybody who worries about the infiltration of that into movies, music, television, everything. I mean, they could create fake you and put it out. There's got to be some parameters. But the reason that I find it to be somewhat scary is it's just in the percussion world alone. We've been fighting drum machines and programming since day one, but a lot of that was at least still programmed by a human, even though it was a machine playing it. Nowadays, it doesn't have to be that way. And it makes me wonder, if you're a composer and somebody goes to AI and says, create a work, a string quartet with very dark, ominous music, a la, you know, any composer, you name them, and whatever, and AI spits out something like that. You didn't do anything but type. It's not your work, but AI would create it and people could buy it. And so I would feel that as a composer, my competition is seriously AI. Because why would a company, be it a record company or a publishing company or anything like that, if they have access to AI, why would they want to pay somebody if they can create their own stuff in house? Now, I know there's a lot of battles going on in Congress right now and different things about what's copyrightable and what's not. And that will still take form, and there'll still be a lot of lawsuits and stuff like that. But as a drummer, I know people that write marimba books, marimba solos. And if I said, "Oh, create a marimba solo in a minor key, 5 minutes long," bang, it would create something. And it's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't come up with any kind of chord structure. I didn't come up with a melody. I didn't sit down with any kind of ideas. I just put some ideas into a computer. I didn't write. I just gave it parameters. Does that mean that you wrote it? No. AI wrote it, and that's scary. It makes me wonder if you could do a snare drum solo. Say, create a rudimental snare drum solo, so many measures, theme, development, recapitulation, whatever. How are we going to put the parameters in there using all 40 rudiments plus hybrid rudiments? And it would spit out something that you didn't sit down and play through and try to figure it out. It did it. And that could be scary. It makes me wonder if it could get into film scoring, and it could get into marching band arrangement and even drill writing and stuff like that. And so is it going to be perfect? No, it's going to have to work out the kinks, but the fact that it is there is scary. The fact that you could sit down and say, write a pop tune, dark, ominous tune about loss of love and female voice, and it would spit out something just like that it didn't cost you anything but like 2 minutes on a keyboard. So it's scary that that could be the new norm and cut out more of what things have already cut out. Concerts are already super expensive because streaming doesn't pay. And for people who say, well, I make some money on streaming, well, you might make some money on streaming if you're not a major artist and you get a few things picked up, you'll make a few pennies. But for major artists, they lose money on streaming. That's why concert tickets are so expensive. That's why when you go see a concert, there's a VIP package so they can make some money. They can make some money off selling you coffee mugs and T-shirts and used drum heads and stuff. They used to just toss that stuff or sign it and give it to a fan that was standing there. Now they charge for everything, and there's no, I mean, I don't blame them. They're looking for any stream of revenue because album sales, recording sales are no longer relevant. They don't make money. There's artists now that don't even put out albums anymore. And it bothers me that I can't buy albums. I have to just listen to a single on a streaming service, and I don't like that. But I understand it's a different world now, but it should be scary to everybody because I feel like it's going to infiltrate to a point, and you have to set up parameters. The NIL thing with college athletes is a great example. If you don't set up the parameters, it's going to run hog wild, and that's a danger. So there's my take on AI. Do I think it's a good thing? I'm sure in some fields it's a great thing, but I'm sure for anything in the entertainment business in any kind, it's a scary thing because I feel like it will take over and it will replace live composing, live playing, live everything. I mean, you're seeing artists already cancel tours because there's no money because they can't afford to sustain that other than major artists. And you're going to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars, if not $1,000 for a seat to see somebody. And that's just not practical for the average everyday person. So this has been going on for years. It just wasn't AI, but it keeps shifting in that direction. AI should be scary to everybody, in my opinion.